The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
You realize deep way under
It's your guy, Captain Multiverse, back again, making regular content for you guys. I know we took a little break and we focused on just making kind of music videos for a few days, but now we're back and better than ever. So over the weekend, I went and saw a couple movies, some at home, some on streaming, and I'm here to talk about it. So if you enjoy my movie reviews, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to hit 2K on this channel. We're going to be doing a big thing if we hit 2K pretty soon, where we're going to do a 24-hour live stream on one of my next days off once we hit the 2K mark. So thanks for that support, guys. We love you, and we're here to give it to you. So our movie that we'll be reviewing today, one of many, is a sequel to a film I quite enjoyed. As you guys know, we reviewed one Scott Adkins movie earlier this year. Being a martial artist and a movie buff, I love my martial arts flicks. A few years ago, I think it might have been 2023, we reviewed a movie called One More Shot. And One More Shot, or it was One Shot. One Shot is the first movie in a franchise of 3 movies called the One Shot Trilogy. One Shot is a movie that is basically Scott Adkins plays a Navy SEALs agent, and he goes on these dangerous missions. The first movie was more him trying to stop a terrorist and going and defeating all these different enemies. And, you know, it was more, they call it one shot because it was shot in one take. You get cool fight scenes of using his martial arts skills, but also using his good acting chops as a soldier that's going through some pretty big trauma. And the first movie delivered on that brilliant. I quite like the first movie. I think it's pretty solid. I think I gave it an 8.5. I think that's pretty good. Let's talk about the second one. The second movie is now called, since we are getting 3 of them, the second sequel that came out in 2024 is directed by James Nunn, and it is called One More Shot. Now, I'm not familiar with James Nunn's work very much, so we'll look into it in a later video. But One More Shot is directed by James Nunn, and the movie is an hour and 42 minutes. The plot of the movie involves following the attack on the black site in Poland. The Navy SEAL Jack Harris, played by Scott Adkins, ordered to escort terrorists, suspect Ahmed, to Washington, D.C. for interrogation. So this movie is split up into multiple parts, and surprisingly for yours truly who works in an airport, this movie's plot actually takes place in the airport. So Jack Harris is a Navy SEAL, worked with another person on his team named Lomain, and Agent Lomain is played by Alexis Knapp. More on her in a minute. This movie also features the legendary rival to Scott Adkins, Michael Jai White, who is a mercenary for hire in this film. And so the movie starts out kind of, terror attacks going on. They're trying to prevent a bomb from happening. A big credible threat is happening, and it's interesting. You're intrigued by what's going on. You're finding it very interesting and entertaining, and there's some banter about how to connect the person that started the terror attack. We're trying to negotiate him. We have her wife at one point to the government to try and get her to, reason with her husband. And so that kind of ends up happening. We use the child that's not born yet as a plot device. And we're dealing with these terrorists, and, Scott Adkins is taking multiple of them, basically pulling a Batman Arkham, doing silent takedowns on everyone, stabbing people with a knife, maybe sometimes when he doesn't have a weapon, using close quarters combat, hand-to-hand combat, all that sort of stuff. It's looking fantastic. So he's doing a great job with that, and I'm loving all the stuff he's doing. The choreography is quite top-notch, never disappoints when it comes to Scott Adkins. And then we build on this film with a surprise, but a welcome one, which is the climax of this movie before the big twist. We end up seeing a big fight scene in the airport, not the terminal, the terminal where the plane on the runway, there's a fight to try and stop the device, and there's a fight between Scott Adkins and Michael Jai White, and they're both kind of getting up there in age, so it's not necessarily your Bruce Lee flashing kicks showcase, it's more of a strength on strength thing using grappling techniques, hand-to-hand combat, the lot of everything, and it's looking very promising. Loving how it's all going. Great stuff. Unfortunately, the fight was a little shorter than I would have liked it to, and unlike previous movies, I feel like Scott Adkins took out Michael Jai White a little too fast, so kind of you gotta suspend disbelief a little bit. But my biggest issue with this movie is we're still falling into 2025 with that girl boss energy, because there's a twist where Alexis Knapp's character becomes the true villain, and they should have cut her completely or made her a different supporting character, because she's useless to this film. She's annoying as the main villain, and she doesn't do anything narratively. She's not a match for Scott Adkins. She's just used as the intelligent, the brains of the operation. But you should have just had Michael Jai White lead the film, the mercenary organization, instead of her. It just didn't work. But overall, I enjoyed One More Shot. I do recommend One More Shot. I will give it one score lower than the first film. I give it a 7 out of 10 because it had a good plot, good action, but it had a whiny antagonist. Other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed the film, and I can't wait for the third movie. Are you Scott Adkins movie fans? What Scott Adkins movie would you like me to review next? Let me know. I'm Captain Multiverse, signing off. And remember, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching.